We begin with gangs and guns in Surrey, a bloody turf war over drugs that's been making headlines for years. Tonight, our Sonia Diol gets an exclusive look at who's involved, how easily they can get guns, and what police are doing to tackle the crisis.
There's a turf war in Surrey over drugs. For gangsters, they don't care about getting killed. The payoff is just too high.
I was making like 25, 30K a month at least. That's about it. Selling drugs, selling crack, heroin, meth.
The biggest price being paid by Surrey in bullets and in blood. This 18-year-old wasn't pushed into the lifestyle. It's a choice.
Ever since I was a little kid, I always used to look after my cousins. I was like, I'm going to be like these guys. They were gangsters. Most of them are doing jail time. Some of them are dead.
Yeah, young men as young as 12, 13 involved in this kind of criminal activity.
The little boy that's 9, 10 years old, he's one of the biggest drug dealers around here.
Well, they're recruited, usually from older cousins or older siblings or older friends that are currently involved.
And where there's drugs, there's guns.
These are young kids that have easy access to firearms.
Kashid is BC's former Solicitor General. He also used to head up Vancouver's drug squad.
You've got a couple of drug lines that are disputing right now. One comes out of South Vancouver, one comes out of the Surrey North Delta area. And what they're doing is they're providing firearms to these kids in order to settle some disputes.
Getting a gun, if you're already involved, is very, very easy. You ask your older associates for it. You use encrypted chat, something that doesn't leave a trail.
Are you surprised?
I'm surprised that a 13-year-old can get a gun in a half an hour. My biggest concern is that an innocent person would be caught in the crossfire.
A newer generation of drug dealers who have no fear.
These kids are just trigger happy. They don't know how to shoot, that's the thing. They shoot like they're like in Compton or something, like sideways.
This 18-year-old gangster just as worried as the police.
The newer generation is just too crazy, man. Like 42 shootings this year, fucking crazy.
Tonight, Global Sonia Diol reports on the uncomfortable reality for BC's South Asian community. The fact the majority of the violence comes at the hands of its young men.
For a lot of guys, it's a painful stereotype, but factually, it's also a painful truth.
If you look at the people that are involved in the shooting, if you look at the people that are even getting arrested right now, you will see that they're predominantly Indo-Canadian.
This guy thinks he knows why.
Most parents are busy working. They don't have time for their kids.
But parents are saying the only reason they're working 13-hour days is for their kids. But at what cost?
What you doing? I don't know, nothing.
While these parents are busy working, the gangsters are eyeing up their prey. Her teenage son was offered drugs by someone at school. He's now an addict and being asked to deal.
He came with in a nice car, and he's like, hey, do you want to work for me?
And were you tempted?
Yeah, I thought about it. It's just easy money. All they got to do is just sell their drugs.
But how can a whole community pull together if some families are still struggling to communicate at home? This is the first time mother and son had a heart-to-heart where she's asking him to change.
Promise? Promise, God. I love you. Love you too.
Maybe the answer is just as simple as talking to one another.
Tonight, Sonia Diol explains what police are doing to get kids out of gang life and, more importantly, keep them from joining up in the first place.
It's hard. I tried to get out of my dad and moved to Abbotsford for a year, tried to get out of the gang life here. Yeah. And somebody put a hit on my head out there.
According to Vancouver police officer Cal DeSange, the answer does not lie in arresting these guys. He says we've got to get in earlier before they're even tempted into a life of crime. And that is through sport.
What it does is instill some of the fundamental qualities that any individual needs in order to be successful in their life. Teamwork, leadership, dedication.
Cal created a program called Kids Play, which saw 8,000 kids coming through the door just this past year. Despite these initiatives and campaigns, there is still a way to go. To those who want the police to fix everything, Manny says that is unfair.
We put police in a position of power to enforce the law, not to be our parents, not to be our teachers.
And to the gangsters and drug dealers refusing to listen?
I would say there's no happy ending in this game. Get out now while you can. Before you hurt yourself, you hurt your mom or your dad, your brother, your sister, or people that you actually care about.
Sonia Diol, Global News.